All right, let's go.
All right, let's go. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me as usual is none other than my co-host Noble.
What a perfect day to go out and take a photo. It's pissing with rain.
Yeah, would have joined you in that, but it all the rain happened overnight, which is something that's been happening a lot up here in recent memory. Funny that.
Ah, gotta love weather.
I know. Up here is crazy. First it gets warm, now it gets like really, really crazy cold. And yes, if you're wondering what happened last week, I got crook. Because of 4 cold days in a row. Cold mornings too. So yeah, apologies. But it happens. Anyway, joining us for the show, we have Avira.
Hey, what's up, guys? Glad to be back again.
Mm-hmm.
Jolt, glad you're feeling better, buddy. I know you were pretty messed up a little while ago, but now you're back on it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, had some pretty crazy stuff going on this week, so I'm just let's get on it.
All right. And joining us to round out the panel, we have Malagos.
Hey everyone.
Good to have you back.
What's up?
What's up? I sound like one of those video game characters in RTS when you click on the oh yeah, that's from StarCraft, yeah.
Oh man, like imagine like what happened is like when you just click and then you say a line where you're pissed off. I think we should all have one of those.
I vote we frag this commander.
No, that's just a classic Easter egg. They do that. But yes. Yes. This time we're gonna take a bit of a moment to remember the passing of many legends. Just all three legends in particular in just the span of a week. It's yeah, I have no words. Mm, we'll do it.
Now, for
And
those of you who don't know, of course, we're talking about, everything bad happens in threes, they say. Of course, we lost Malcolm, who was a staple of the Cosby Show back in the 80s, all of that. Then we had Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself, after just less than 3 weeks after his major concert. I believe it was on July 5th. He had his Back to the Beginning concert, where he performed from his throne as the Prince of Darkness, his classic songs, Crazy Train, Mama, I'm Coming Home. And he passed away shortly after that. And now we have Hulk Hogan, the brother himself, a patriot if there ever was one, man. My goodness, what a legend! And all these guys, this was. I feel like a lot of Gen Xers, like their 1980s kind of childhood, was these guys had a great influence on that. So there's a lot of people who are very upset about this situation. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be?
I know.
And Hulk Hogan wasn't even like, who would have thought? Goodness.
Yeah. I'm just really more astounded by the time frame that that all of these happen within. It's just insane. And I know for a lot of you guys, and especially even people of our generation as well, that these three legends have had a very big, profound impact on just on our lives, especially growing up and and all the things that we liked.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ozzy Osbourne. Like, my dad was a kid when he was first listening to heavy metal and stuff, and now it's like multi generations later. Now I grew up listening to Ozzy because my dad liked him. Now it's like man, he's been around forever. It's like I don't think he's ever gonna die though. Like music wise, you're still gonna
Oh
be
no.
listening to the radio. You're still gonna hear his songs. You know.
Yeah, of course. It's kind of like creepy to me because like last week I was like
Mhm.
I was like driving some friends and we were like discussing like I don't know rock stars like Led Zeppelin and Guns N'
Mhm.
Roses and suddenly from conversation I was like and you also have like Ozzy Osbourne and one of my friends was like he's still alive and I'm like he's still alive and like and as I said that like the very next week he died.
Oh man, that's spooky.
Yeah, it really. There's no surprise, right? I think the last time I remember that, like when people played a medley of songs from from a past music artist, you kind of realize what the heck is going on because the last time I remembered that was way back in 2009, and then I was like, why are they playing all these Michael Jackson songs? And then the news hit, like, oh, so
Hmm.
as you probably realize why they're playing a lot of like those famous Ozzy Osbourne songs, 100%.
Oh, Joel, that's a very good point. I was just about to bring up because before Michael Jackson died at the age of 50 in 2009, he was actually about to be going on his last tour. If you remember what that
Right.
was, and he was getting prepared for, I think it was called This Is It. It was his last tour ever. And he prepared all these shows, all these concerts, everything was booked, but he had died before he was able to actually do that. There was a documentary about like his preparations and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, Ozzy, he actually did get to perform his last show. Back to the beginning. That's what all that was. All the tribute bands that came out, everyone like thanking him for his contributions to like the metal scene and like all of all the memories throughout all the cultural impact. Of course. So all of that was pretty phenomenal. The fact he was able to do that just shortly before he left this mortal plane. So that was pretty cool. The fact he was able to do that. A lot of musicians really don't. It was more like a farewell tour, if anything. I'm sure if you guys like watched the clips, it was more like that, because we knew it was the final performance and it was like, all right, this is let's go out, man. This is it. And it was cool.
It's great, yeah. Like you make a fine point there. Like it's crazy. Like once they announce their final tour, it's either like they either ride off into the sunset or they ride off into the great
Mhm.
beyond. Just sometimes you just can't believe how uncanny that really all sounds. But it's crazy. Like I can do that sort of thing. Like all that sort of music that Ozzy Osbourne made. Like he made some really good hits as well. What were some of your favorites? Like what?
Oh goodness. There's quite a few, but I would say one of my favorites was when I remember I was in high school and he had just released like a new album. It was like, oh, his comeback or something. And it was a music video of him in the snow and it was called Dreamer. His song, I'm Just a Dreamer. Like, it was a really powerful song. Like, just the cinematography just of the music video was really cool. And I remember just, loving that song, and I really got more into Ozzy at that point because my dad always played this like on the radio and shit, like whenever we're driving anywhere. But I was a kid at the time. But yeah, I think it was around high school when I really started to get into Ozzy. Yeah, cool stuff.
For me, it was Highway to Hell and Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. That was timeless.
For me, it was.
I am so glad. Sorry, I caught a copy of his. I was able to pick up a cassette tape probably 2 or 3 years ago of his songs.
Mm-hmm.
for like 50 cents. I bet it's worth more than more now.
Way more now, considering people are going basically back to living in time capsules. So cassettes, yeah.
Malagos?
Well, to me, while he was in Black Sabbath, it would probably be Iron Man, War Pigs, Paranoid. But when he goes solo, I think probably my favorite song is The Crazy Train.
Right on.
Good stuff. All right. Now we're going to move on to the other legend. We had Hulk Hogan. Oh, dude, I think it was a foregone thing. Like when we were kids, like wrestling was on the big screen on our TVs, and we were just like captivated by it,
Yeah, and I even had action figures of the wrestlers. Like, and I was like 6 and 7, and like I still thought of them like as my idols.
Yeah, you're totally on point about that. Like they had action figures of like UFC fighters. Like you can get Hulk Hogan action figures, or what was the other guy? No, whatever. Like
Undertaker.
Yeah, like all the crazy wrestlers. They had.
I
Like,
mean, you also
all
had
these
the
toy
Macho
deals
Man.
back in like the 80s. Yeah. Oh yes, of course. He had a lot. He had a lot of toy deals. That was back in like the 80s, 90s. Maybe even early 2000s thereabouts. Yeah, that was some cool stuff.
I know the ones where you where they have like spread their legs are spread, and if you like squeeze them, they like either like they like move their arm or something, like like they flex their muscles, or
Oh, so in that case, it would be like giving someone like a noogie or something. And so how that would work is like you would play with multiple action figures and reenact scenes from the show and be like, all right, so Hulk Hogan grips the guy between his thighs, rubs his head, and then he twists over, and the ref is out. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he's out. Oh my goodness, crazy shit like that. Yeah, man. Kids don't even play with toys anymore. Now it's all just iPads. But man.
I mean, let's not forget, WWE also had a very big impact in, and I think, fighting games in general. Like, you saw a lot of fighting moves in a lot of fighting games, like Tekken and Street Fighter. And I recognize, like, a lot of those moves they took from WWE. Like, especially because you probably know this, Jolt, but WWE in Japan was actually like really popular at the point. So a lot of fighting games actually like incorporated a lot of WWE moves, like the one where they grab them by the head with their thighs, or the ones where they like bounce from the fence, and then like when they lunge forward and stuff, like after bouncing off the fence, kind of like ricochet. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You're right.
Sounds like someone's not a fan of Sorry, sounds like someone's not a fan of Mortal Kombat then.
But yeah, a lot of WWE like inspired a lot of fighting games to like to like make those kinds of moves. I know I was like, I'm like still in shock that like Hulk Hogan is gone.
Right? Yeah. At 71, because you can imagine, remember just a few months ago you saw him rip his shirt off at the RNC when he's like, they tried to kill Trump, brother. No way, America's gonna win. You're like, dude, this guy's got it.
And basically, it was like a heart attack. So it kind of like was quick, like it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know. You guys remember that scene from Godfather when Vito Corleone basically just like at the end of his life, he's like playing with his grandson. He's like at his vineyard, and just all of a sudden falls down, died like that, and that's basically somehow basically how I imagine it came out. It's just like
It could happen that quick. It could be cardiac arrest, pulmonary embolism, a stroke. Could be something that basically just instantly cuts off blood supply, and then like there's really nothing you can do at that point. And 71, considering, let's be real, he did a lot of steroid abuse that probably did some damage to his body, his kidneys over the years, and you can imagine. So the fact he lived to be 71 and was still in good as shape as he was, something like cardiac arrest, unfortunately, that's like a side effect of that kind of lifestyle. But the man was a kind soul. Like as far as I could, he was a good guy. My goodness, he came out of retirement at 71 just to support Donald Trump and to secure the election. That was a wild thing he did after all those years, after being reinducted into the WWE Hall of Fame after some controversy back in like in 2015 or whatever. He got back into it.
I remember.
I'm doing all this, and then he's like
I think his ex-wife or something tried to sue him or something, but
it was some woke nonsense. He was trying to protect his daughter. Anyways, he got past it. Yeah.
They attempted to Me Too him, but they failed because actually I remember he won the lawsuit. It's like I mean, I think at that point, like, he really had nothing to lose, and he just spoke his mind. Like,
I don't know if he thought he was going to die. I don't think he had nothing to lose. I think he was looking forward to a more prosperous life. In fact, did you know that 18 months ago, about a year and a half, he was baptized? So he became a devout Christian at that point, and so for about a year, the last year and a half of his life, he devoted his life to Christ. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I
thought more like he was. I think unlike other celebrities who are too afraid to talk about their political opinions, because you know how celebrities are. Like, if they talk like something completely out of the mainstream mindset, they instantly get scolded. Nobody wants to work with them and stuff. Hulk Hogan didn't really care. Like, he basically spoke what he believed in, and that's like what's actually admired about him. Like, unlike other celebrities, because how other celebrities, most of the Hollywood like celebrities kind of they tend to like try to be like politically correct and try to not be offensive by like I don't know if you know this, but you know that actor Pedro Pascal, right? He's self-proclaimed male feminist. It turns out he was actually touching some women inappropriately. So there you go. What happens like when with those celebrities?
Yeah.
But Hulk Hogan wasn't like that. It seems complete opposite of that.
No, he was a wholesome guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy that
and I guess just to quickly
all this happened in the last week.
Yeah, after quickly tie up this little segment there, what about the other legend there, Malcolm?
See, he was before my time. I never watched The Cosby Show. I'm kind of on the younger side, so I never saw that show back whenever it was airing. Last I heard about this person, Malcolm, that he was, I think, like in his 40s, and he went to the beach with his wife and his 8-year-old daughter. They were in the ocean doing some surfing or something. They were on vacation in Costa Rica, and unfortunately he drowned. Maybe he got caught under the undertow or something. They tried to do CPR, and now he unfortunately has passed away. I can't even imagine just how horrific and that must be for the family. He has an 8-year-old daughter who
Do you know?
doesn't have a father. Like
Do you know,
that's
Joel?
Yeah.
just messed up, man.
Do you know, Joel? Who else died like that? Another famous person,
Who?
Kazuki Takahashi, the creator of
Oh yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that's right. We made that was a couple of years back, and then that was at the same block where another Japanese legend, the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
But what
Also,
happened was Kazuki Takahashi was, I think, also surfing or
Right.
was it diving or something. But he was like missing for like a couple of days, and just they found his body like on the shore. Turns out he drowned as well.
Yeah, like the water is a scary place. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Best you don't go in too deep, otherwise you'll get pulled in and you may or worse. It's crazy, but I suppose that's as good as a farewell that we can give for them. And I know a lot of these legends have touched your lives in ways that you'd realize, and basically just refined your taste and stuff the way it did. So, so that's that. So now we will be moving on into the main bread and butter of the show now. And as you know, in the past couple of days and like in recent times, there's been a worrying precedent that payment processors are all about controlling what you can or what kind of entertainment you can or cannot enjoy as of late. Namely, I'm talking about our main two duopolists, payment processors Visa and MasterCard, and they're and they're basically not okaying certain types of games to begin with.
I feel like we feel like we need to start another something like Stop Killing Games initiative, but for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like the entire point of Stop Killing Games was to like preserve video games and stuff. But now this initiative, if somebody ever made it, would be about to prevent to actually question legality of major payment processors like Visa and MasterCard, PayPal, to actually like force you to buy only stuff that they approve.
Right,
Which isn't even illegal.
Or if they approve. See, that was a question that just spawned into my mind here. Why wouldn't a company like this do polls, like customer service, like understanding, like what do your customers actually want? So if they're going to be doing shit like this, if it's going to upset people, then they're going to lose money. So they don't want to lose money. Why aren't they looking into this?
I think as long as the stuff you buy is not illegal, like they shouldn't really have any sort of problem. I mean, it also causes a slippery slope. I mean, if the payment processors are saying like no to porn games, who knows, tomorrow they might say you're basically trying to, I don't know, buy subscription to right-wing media, and we just basically refuse that, like, because it sets a precedent to that.
Let's say if like 27% of their customers wanted to do that. Oh, there's a new channel out here, there's a new streaming or whatever the crap it might be. I want to subscribe to that. I'm going to go pay $5 a month to go, subscribe to this channel or whatever it might be. So do they still want a part of that monetary income? That's what I don't understand here. Why are they actively seeking out people that they disagree with politically because we don't want your business here. That's the definition of get woke,
yeah.
go broke.
Now,
Like
let
you're
me
gonna
have an
be
article
losing
for
money if
you.
you're alienating your customers. Like what
See, the
what are you
problem-
doing?
See, the problem is that Visa and MasterCard and PayPal are like the three largest payment processors like in the world.
Mhm.
Not just in the US, but in the entire world. And
That's true.
canceling them like is they're so big that it's basically like saying that the group of people would stop using Google because they disagree with some of the Google's stances or on some things. But Google is so big that like just a group of people protesting is not going to work. See, that's the thing why I think this should be given to like Supreme Court or something, because like generally it shouldn't be in a way that like payment processors are demanding that certain websites adhere to their policies, which aren't even illegal, by the way. They're all of them are legal. It's just that they disagree in some of their
Right. Here's the thing. So this article in question that the content itself isn't exactly illegal to sell, that's exactly the main point here. The main point, I guess, what they're trying to do is that an activist group has basically gone directly and basically bitched about it, Karen enough about these supposedly questionable games with questionable content, and use the whole this violates our guidelines thing to as a proxy to get them removed from the marketplace is what the main issue here. As a means to enforce moral standards in gaming, something yada yada, you name it.
So what is really interesting is that ever since Steam and Itch.io, also not just Steam, but you should also mention that Itch.io, another platform that sells games, Itch.io did actually a worse thing, because unlike Steam, which just removed those games from the store, but if you bought those games, you still kept them in your library,
Yeah.
which is how Steam basically operates. These Itch.io did the thing where they removed the games from your library as well.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they remove the games from the store, but they removed the games from the library as well. And that's basically even worse. But what's also really interesting is that usually, you'd have the left and the right wing like fight each other over these kinds of problems. But this is, I believe, one of the rare times where both sides actually dislike this move, and the both sides are actually attacking this group of what they did. So nobody actually likes this move.
Right. And
So was this move politically motivated,
No,
or like
it's
like,
basically
who's
more
behind all
morally
this crazy shit?
motivated because the games that were in the crosshairs are basically adult based games.
The games the games, according to Steam, those games had a theme of rape, incest, all those
Yeah.
kinds of like a little bit of a niche. Well, I would say more of an extreme kind of fetishes. But I mean, despite, I mean, it even mentioned that they had some child exploitation into that. Although I think Steam didn't allow those kinds of games like even before this. So I don't know about that. But even though the other more like the other type of genres, well, those genres are actually popular among well among a lot of people. So of course, you'd see that even from the both sides, they would actually start to complain about this move, which kind of surprised me. But yeah, it's one of the rare cases where both sides actually dislike this.
Right. And I'm gonna bring up to you a case of a from the other side of the spectrum regarding this sort of thing about the opposition to censoring adult games. And this is a viewpoint basically that was done by a furry here. Yes. Look at this. Look at this Sona. He's basically screaming over the censorship of adult content by Visa and that.
I see. You can just tell in his frustration. He's like, "I got
Oh,
something to say." and let's check this out."
furries are very much frustrated about this because
Yeah, because it
we-
takes
we-
away all of
because
their
we know how many people in the furry fandom are sexual deviants, and this kind of
Yes.
content being taken away from them is basically like they consider this like attack on their identity, so to say.
Yeah, because
No, man. You know what I really think though? Look, it's the year 2025. At this point, even though we do have the crazy technology to be able to make games in even more quantity than we used to be able to do, people
yes.
are so much of cowards and like pussies, they can't do it anymore. Do you remember back in like the freaking like late 90s, early 2000s, they had games of squirrels spewing shit at each other, and like that was like on a console game, like you could do that
Yeah,
shit.
But
Do you remember?
That's,
Like now,
Yeah.
hell, even like back in the early 2000s on Newgrounds or FlashPlayer.com, they had games where wild Flash player related games. Like it's not like that anymore. Everything is way more regulated. There's nothing
Alright.
really edgy or fun anymore, like going on.
right. Like
I have
they
a
had a-
question.
Yeah,
I've
go
got a
ahead,
question
Evan.
regarding the whole thing. Is this just Visa or is this just MasterCard or is this
No,
both?
both. No,
Both.
both.
Okay,
Even
good.
PayPal, both.
Now, we have in the past had segments on anime going
That's
under the
right.
same sort of issue.
Yeah, and like the Japanese branch of these payment processors have denied the revenue streams for comic producers of particularly adult manga and anime for that
Now-
for the pretext of brand protection.
So Steam thus far has decided to fold to Visa and MasterCard. When did this kick
And
off?
PayPal.
Okay, and PayPal as well, but PayPal are a bunch of dicks anyway, so no surprise there.
It actually
How
kicked
long?
the,
When did this kick off?
Couple days ago, like quite recently. The
I think at the beginning of the week, like Monday.
My hope would be that this is only temporary on Steam, and Steam would turn around and decide to sue them for it.
Well, you have to imagine who are the executives that okayed this deal to begin with to even work with these companies.
that's-
okay, so
if they're
remember,
going to be
remember
censoring
this.
their content.
Remember this, yes. Steam and Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and that basically listened to the behest of a feminist activist group called Collective Shout, and because they whined enough, they I guess Visa and MasterCard relented.
I'm wondering why Steam has. Can you still buy like Steam cards at the
Yes, but that's not the
supermarkets?
problem here. Yes, you can, but that's not the problem here. The problem isn't like the overwhelming majority of games on Steam. It's the adult ones that are being pulled from libraries that have been.
Oh no, Joel. My sort of point with the whole thing is that Valve itself doesn't really need these payment plans if they've got. Voucher cards might still require it.
It would, however, remove the convenience of a lot of people. I mean,
do you want to polarize the community and get a lot of people fucking pissed off?
I mean, the problem is, I think if you, I don't have the stats, but I would probably bet the majority of people who buy games in Steam use Visa or MasterCard, PayPal, one of these three. Majority of them.
Yeah, you'd be right.
And not just
Probably.
from America, but from all around the world. And if you basically take away those 3 payment processors, like a lot of people would not have the ability to. I mean, think of it for a second. You have a Visa credit card, and you use that to buy games. And now Steam basically removed that function. So how else are you gonna buy it? You could use. I mean, you would use PayPal, for example, but even PayPal gets removed.
Yeah.
So how else are you gonna? The only way you're gonna do it is if. So Steam probably has other credit card companies as well. You could probably go to a bank that issues those kinds of cards and open a bank account and use that. But that's like a really big hassle, and there's also still like paying a monthly fee to the bank to keep that bank account open. So and you'd have to like transfer the money from your original bank account to that bank account, and it would be like a complete hassle. And you could already tell where the problem.
I'm just want to say this, that there are ways to bypass it if you're concerned. If your concern is about how you're going to pay for the game, there's many ways to bypass it, including crypto. But again, the main core of the issue is that games that violate these processes basically are getting delisted, and that's setting a worrying precedent for the future.
Of course. The problem is you have payment processors who decided who are supposed to be on the neutral side. They would be like,
but
we don't care. We don't care what you buy as long as it's not illegal.
Right, but instead they've decided to be the moral arbiters of what is and isn't acceptable entertainment.
Exactly, and that is a
makes
major.
Me wonder what. I honestly want to see the lawsuit that comes down on Visa and MasterCard.
I don't know if Steam would sue them, but somebody would probably take this to the Supreme Court or something. Because like that's basically like in a sort of way that's basically like infringing on the right to buy goods. If a payment processor basically tells the shop you can't sell this, it's like basically imagine a bunch of people in the suits saying, all right, from now on you can't sell this. And if you say no to this, then our credit card won't be able to work in your store. So,
I guess what you're saying is it's representing a precedent. Like if companies are able to do that in this situation, then other stores could do that as well. Like grocery stores saying, "Oh, we don't want to take Discover anymore. Oh, you only have Discover. Well, whoops, you're out of luck. You can't buy groceries today."
I mean, I remember basically back in like 2010 when WikiLeaks was founded, and there was like a lot of hype around it. I remember the first thing that happened is that those major payment processors basically refused to pay donations to that website. You couldn't donate to WikiLeaks because the payment processors refused to process the payments of the donations to the website, which would actually be a first sign of what, because that website was actually leaking like classified information, and whether that is, I mean, that could be technically be considered illegal, but you supporting that website would probably not be illegal.
It was information. No, I don't think so. I think it was information that was leaked. It shouldn't have been leaked, but it was, and so it's this individual's freedom of speech to relay that information to the public. They didn't do anything wrong. They're not the ones that stole it. They just stumbled upon.
Shouldn't refuse to basically allow people to donate through their payment processors to that guy, because that was the entire thing. And I think that was like the first sign that those payment processors basically, they were no longer neutral. They started taking stances on these kinds of things. And this is basically starting to become a lot worse, of course, with the whole Steam thing.
Look, from my point of view, this is a pretty nasty thing that's going on with Visa and MasterCard. The fact that they're deciding to start take stance on who is allowed to buy what is a serious concern.
But yeah, like
personally,
I
said, I would like to see at least some company turn around and, well, take shit seriously instead of folding as Steam have done so far. My hope would be that this is only temporary and that they're going to sue. However, depending on how they see things moving forward, they might not. Personally, I think Steam would be in an excellent position to turn around and say, yeah, no, fuck you, give them the finger, and, well, take Visa and MasterCard off there and just require people to buy the voucher cards instead, and take them to court and be like, yeah, look, you can't really let us decide what we can and can't do as long as it's above board. Does Steam prevent the sale of games that are illegal? So back in the day, when Left 4 Dead 2 came out, you couldn't buy in Australia the full version. You had to get the restricted version. So unless Steam has changed their policies, if a game isn't legal in a country, they don't sell it to you on the Steam store. Unless, of course, you screw around a little bit and trick them. But otherwise...
what was I gonna say? Slippery slope towards the next.
No, it's not a slippery slope. We're already there. They're already doing this. That's the thing.
The next part is going to be Visa and MasterCard basically asking, "Oh, wait, you're going to donate to, I don't know, Alex Jones?" No, and they just basically refuse your payment processor because you wanted to donate $100 to Alex Jones, and they refuse it because Alex Jones is a right-wing conspiracy theorist, and they just basically refuse to do that. And another problem, what I was going to say, somebody, one of you mentioned, well, you could always buy those voucher cards. There's like Steam cards or whatever. The problem is that not every country has Steam cards, and while it may be viable in like Western countries, like in the countries in other more poor countries, they're not available there, and they pretty much they use Visa and MasterCard to buy those games over there. So that's also an issue.
Yeah, so basically a monopoly. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, it's generally is the whole payment processor thing is a monopoly because Visa and MasterCard are the two largest dominant.
Yeah.
There's also American Express and everything, but American I should say
American Express is I've hardly seen an American Express.
Yeah, I've also seen it. There's also that what are they called, Diners Club, which is also really. I've actually, no, to tell you the truth, I've never seen anyone have a Diners Club credit card.
None, especially because they were a top end. What's it called? For the super duper,
Yeah, but I've never seen any. I saw American Express, but that was long time ago.
Yeah,
I think my dad had American Express card. That was in 2006 or something.
Right. Do you live in the United States? You do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but
I'm in
like
like New York, so I see American Express all the damn time. Like, it's everywhere. Everyone's got an American Express card. At least here in New York, man.
I've when I was working one time as a clerk, like they're just like back like when I was in early 20s and stuff. Like I was no, sorry, I was a cashier, and I saw mostly that time I saw, I think, yeah, if I remember, there was, I think, like two or three guys having like American Express, but I saw mostly like Visa and MasterCard.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody having like those Maestro cards as well. Those are
Right.
supposed to be like gift cards.
Okay. So in that sense, so since Noble's just told me that he's needed to head out quite a bit, to dash out quite a bit, let's do one more segment and let's yeah. So I think the whole visa thing has just kind of overstayed its welcome at this point. Now, this last item that we have is a new recent development here. That AI has indeed gone crazy. Google made an AI model to talk to dolphins.
So to start
Yeah.
off with, if you imagine or have this thing in your head that someone just fired up a large language model and beep, yeah, all of a sudden can talk to dolphins, no, that's not how it works. Having read the news article and gone through like 3 of the bloody things, they've taken
Mhm.
research from the last, I think, like 30 years or so, 40 years, and just simply fed it into Google, and Google has a shit ton of processing power. And they found similar type of sounds that seem to keep popping up. And if I remember correctly, they have successfully managed some very basic communications with not just dolphins, but also killer whales.
Well, I mean,
And
dolphins
yeah,
are one of the smartest
yes,
animals in the world.
Oh, correct. Given this research and what the AI has been able to do, what they did was they've been feeding it kind of like a large language model, what we do with normal human communication, but they have recorded multiple sounds and in sequence. So what the AI has been able to do is not just analyze the sounds in like a way where you can just discern certain types of tones. It's more like trying to understand a kind of linguistic pattern, how certain sounds and frequencies appear in certain sequences over a course of time, and how they respond to when humans decipher this and then they play it back. Then the dolphins will respond in a way that can somewhat be deciphered. Now, we're not entirely there yet, but this is some interesting technology developing to actually have interspecies communication. Very fascinating technology. And
Now I think keep in mind, like I don't think dolphins are even if you were able to communicate with dolphins, I don't think you would be able to like start talking about algebra or something to the
oh no, no,
no,
no.
it'll be a totally different thing because like they live in a different dimension.
yeah, of course.
Basically, they're underwater most of their lives. You know,
And they have a
they're
different
going to
and
be
they have a
thinking about different
different
things.
yeah, and they have a different kind of lifestyle. Like they don't actually have, you know, responsibilities and stuff like, well, I mean they do, but like in their own world, like completely different than
Yeah,
what
like
humans face.
imagine if like a dolphin was like, "Hey, Malagos, you ever get that itch on the back of your flipper? Huh, that's the worst, right?" And you're like, I don't have a flipper."
Also,
And they'd be like,
dolphins are
"What are you kidding me?"
yeah. Also,
Like,
dolphins
how do you communicate with that?
are mammals, right? They're not fish, they're mammals.
Yeah.
Right. But like I mean, I guess you could communicate them in the almost the identical way you communicate with your dog. I guess in a form of human animal relationship, sort of way.
Did none of you ever
I-
watch Sequest TSV in the 90s?
I mean, I saw that movie was called Flipper, or
No. Flipper is definitely about dolphins, but there was a TV show, a sci-fi one called Sequest TSV. It was about a submarine in the future. And they had a dolphin that talked through a computer.
I read like back when I was like a kid. I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This was like before even the movie came out. Like, and it's like funny because like in that book, which is basically like a comedy book, in that book, they said like the humans aren't actually the smartest creatures in the world. They're actually the first one are mice, and the second one are dolphins. And in that book, the dolphins basically tried to communicate to humans through, like in the Sea World, how they do all those kinds of tricks. Well, they did those tricks because they were trying to warn humans that an alien race was about to destroy the Earth in order to
Oh no.
use it as a highway. But the humans, of course, because they didn't understand the dolphin language, they thought the dolphins were just like being silly. They're like they're like doing all these hoops and stuff, and they were just you know being being silly and funny and all that. And so basically, the dolphins kind of like one day they just gave up on. They just gave up on the humans and said, you know what, we tried to warn you, you didn't listen, so we're just gonna leave the earth. And there's that famous quote saying, "So long and thanks for all the fish," which is basically the dolphins left the earth, and at least say so long and thanks for all the fish. And it was the kind of like the whole meme and stuff about that book. But yeah, basically, dolphins were smart enough to know that the Earth was about to be destroyed, so they left the Earth. Well, they tried to warn the humans, but the humans didn't understand it.
So, was there anything else in the article that was worth bringing up?
I would say so far, like
Good
If the
usage
discu-
of AI.
yeah, well, they've basically been trying to replicate all, of course. Yes, it is a big boost for AI to study like the dolphin signature communication patterns, like these, the waves and whistles and all of that, to try and do that.
I mean,
But again, it would be a very long time till we basically start getting, direct dolphin to human language translation.
No, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be. It would be if we had humans doing this. Here's the thing: if we had AI smart enough to be able to, let's say, simulate 10,000 PhD level linguistics to analyze this these sound patterns every single day, 24/7, and then you can simulate
Mhm.
50 years of work in an hour.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have zero doubt that AI can completely understand what they're saying. Just like they've been able to decipher ancient languages. Yeah, like with the hyper intelligent level of AI in the
Yeah.
trajectory that we're going. Yeah, I can totally see it.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
first,
AI could do this.
yeah, like first things, like baby steps. Like they're basically, using the AI to teach it like these sound waves and frequencies. You know how the dolphins communicate their favorite objects, and like seagrass, scarves, and all that. And then they're gonna see, baby steps. Dolphins can
And a
request
sentient
the desired.
computer could think about this so quickly, they could do it so fast. They would just
Yeah.
be able to do this faster than a person. It's like Guys, what is 821,000.07 divided by 11? Like, a calculator can do that in like a quarter of a second. Imagine what this technology can do when you feed it this kind of, like, oh, this is what a dolphin is saying. Analyze it. Yeah, I think we'll be talking to dolphins pretty darn soon, considering just how quick technology is moving. Spooky stuff. Or
Right,
maybe good
exactly,
stuff.
like-
I don't know.
Yeah, like, maybe that they will have like an era of animal whisperers having these devices and says when they hear these dolphin sound waves and just say the little device with the AI on it just says so and so line.
Someone
demonstrate-
standing on a out at the beach, just with a smartphone, turning around and trying to have a conversation with a dolphin would just be ridiculous, and then it'll become commonplace.
No, but that's one way of doing it, though. Imagine that, like, that's the study here could theoretically, depending on how you look at it, though, like, be be help our understanding of human and animal communications, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, there was that talking gorilla one time.
Oh, there are plenty of gorillas that know sign language.
But yeah, no, like I'm really it is quite fascinating to see that this is what what people have been able to make full use of
Who
AI
could
with.
use that AI to communicate with monkeys?
The problem with monkey communication, as I understand, they also go with body language, not just sounds.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe you'd need like an AI to teach a human, and then the human trainer would be able to communicate with the primate. Or just having basic experience, you don't necessarily need the AI.
I mean, that's how they communicated with the monkeys before. But like, I mean, I don't know if the AI probably analyzes the body language of monkeys. Maybe it could. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas.
Mm. But yeah, well, let's see how this sort of thing, this sort of study and research evolves in the years ahead to come, eh? Like maybe that way might broaden our understanding of like animal communications and what have you. Or even that maybe that part of the Hitchhiker's Guide could actually become indeed reality.
What, the aliens are about to destroy the
Oh
world?
no! The dolphins warning humans.
Yeah, dolphins warning humans that like the end of the world is coming near, and the humans say, "Hey, look, that dolphin is doing a somersault."
All right. Apart from that, though, oh, Noble, when do you have to run off?
Probably another 5 to 10 minutes.
Ah, that's all right. That's not too bad. Looks like it'd be a good time as ever to just about wrap this up then. Just so I don't want to keep you out of thingo. So let's wrap this up though. So who's got quick let's round this out though. Who's got a quick closing statement that they'd like to say, in spite of all the happenings this week?
Malagos.
What? A lot of legends died. It's really not good. I would, yeah, it's really sucks, and the whole Visa thing is the Visa MasterCard thing is already like starting to think on the dark way. So I'm just hoping there's going to be some good thing. Like, for example, the Stop Killing Games initiative is ending soon, and they have like 1,400,000 signatures. That might actually be that might actually turn out to be a wonderful news next week. So
Who knows? Yeah. All right. Avira.
Hey, well, it was super great to be back on again.
As always.
Didn't expect this week to be. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I just, oh man, didn't expect this week to be all as intense as it was. I mean, my goodness, Ozzy Osbourne, the legend himself, Prince of Darkness, has passed. I mean, I listen to his music all the time, man. Like, he's fucking great. So that was upsetting. Of course, Hulk Hogan. So this week has been very upsetting. We lost a lot of good people. But life goes on. Yeah, I guess I wish everyone a good weekend, and thanks for having me. I'll see you next time. All right.
Yeah, and no, we got anything to say before you dash off?
Unfortunately, we've had another one of those situations where somewhat famous people have departed this plane of existence. Makes you wonder what else is going to happen for the rest of the year in that sense. Visa and MasterCard. I'm watching them slowly climb up the ladder of bad ideas, and I can't wait to see them just come crashing back down and splatter on the sidewalk. It's always fun when that happens. And dolphins and killer whales and all that, yeah, they're trying to actually communicate with them. It's fun to see how much they've been able to progress with just using a computer and wasting a shit ton of fucking energy in the meantime with it. That's my sort of 2 cents on the whole thing.
Yeah, good as ever though. So with that though, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did making it. And it's of course a bit of, a sad day when these things happen at times. But yeah, hope they I hope these people touched your lives as much as when they were in the time on Earth. And yeah, with that, I will say that you can always find the episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, FM, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more. And that's all we have for the week. Until next time.
Bye.
Mama, I'm coming home.
Highway to hell.